All right, we start into our next session of communication. And this next session is going to be talking about assertiveness. It's your right, developing assertiveness skills. Now, there is a difference between being assertive and aggressive. There's a thin line that can come between that. Assertive is you expressing yourself and you're setting boundaries as an individual with an identity, and you're setting boundaries for other people. Now, some people get assertive and aggressiveness mixed up. Some people think that being aggressive is being assertive, but no, there's a line. Aggressive bends on the rights of others, not caring. Even though you're getting your point across, assertiveness is letting you state your opinion and letting you know. And aggressiveness is kind of like saying that I don't care what nobody else think. I don't care whose feelings I hurt. I don't care what goes on. I'm going to say it and do it. As they say, give them a piece of my mind, which we are learning through this journey of change, that is not the way to go. That giving a piece of our mind has gotten us in so much trouble, and gotten a lot of people in so much trouble, and lost a whole lot of good opportunities behind that. So we're on this journey of change, is trying to turn this thing around in a more positive way, getting the same results but in a more positive way of doing it. Now, the objectives of session and key terms we're going to be talking about pretty much is we're going to learn in 3 ways of relating that do not lead to that often lead to negative or conflictive outcomes. Everybody has one of these 3 traits, but one stands out more dominant than the other. And you choose. You examine yourself and you choose which one it is for you. I can tell you mine was the aggressive. As we go into this, I can just tell you mine on the front is aggressive. Mine was aggressive. But the key words are assertiveness that we're going to be talking about. Assertiveness, flight, fake, and fair. So let's start off right now. That we're going to look at these 3 ways of relating to others that usually do not lead to problem solving skills, and they do not, and I repeat, do not resolve conflicts and do not fulfill your needs and the needs of others. So this, we're going to start. I love teaching this part of it because this is like almost like the meat of it all. I love this, teaching this part. So the first one we're going to talk about is flight and passive. Okay? Flight, which equals to being passive. Now, it says these kind of people right here, they avoid problems and conflicts in relationships. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, not wanting to avoid problems and conflicts in relationships. But sometimes you're going to have to confront some of this stuff. But they do this on a continual basis, not trying to solve the problem. The passive person can want. They give up their rights when there is a conflict. Ooh, that is not good at all. You do not give up your rights when a conflict comes along. You have the right to express yourself. They give up their rights when there is a conflict. Number 2, they do not get what they want at their own expense. And when I say that, they use the excuse of saying, well, you know what? I'm not hurting nobody. It's just me. Yeah, they might call me a sucker or a punk or a weak jellyback or whatever, but I'm not hurting nobody. It's me, and it's all on me, and so I can deal with it. But see, that's not dealing with it. Understand? That's not dealing with it. And that's another thing, they do that. So if this appoints to you, you be the truth, you be honest and truthful about yourself, even the relationships that you're in. You know, it says they do not get what they want at their own expense. Number 3, they put out more and quote unquote pay more. They put out more and they quote unquote pay more. So in the natural worldly sense, will look at that as one word they used to use on the streets called getting punked or getting bullied. because they're putting out more and they're paying more and getting nothing back in return. See, love is good. You can give love, but you also have to be on the receiving end of love as well. It don't work. Love is reciprocated. You can't just go one-way street. You know, Jesus on the cross, he loved us enough. God loved us so much that he gave his only begotten son and he died on the cross. And our obedience to him, the scriptures even say that if we love him, we obey his commandments. So if we want the same love reciprocated that was shown to us, the way we give it back is by being obedient and keeping his commandments. So it says putting out more and paying more. Now, number 4 is this. They do not express thoughts, feelings, needs. They don't know how to express this because it's all bottled up in them. Being passive, people can call these people as being as peacemakers, and ain't nothing wrong with being a peacemaker. But when you still know you have conflicts and stuff that need to be dealt with on the inside, and you feel like you're being trampled upon, and you don't look at yourself as a person, but just a it factor and being able to take stuff in, guess what? Someday it's going to want to come out at the wrong time. So being passive, and everybody has a right to express their thoughts, their feelings, and their needs, which was the 4 parts of communication that we first started off with in this series. The first 4 was thoughts, like thought life. I think, I feel, I need, I do or act. So what happens when I don't express these thoughts, feelings, or needs? Guess what? I can allow myself to be able to be made, and my identity can become a false identity. Because why? Now I'm walking around not expressing myself. What kind of expression am I setting for others to look at about me? Yeah, you might say that you don't care about nobody else, you don't care what they think about you, but when they start labeling you something that you're really not, that should affect you in some sort. And the reason they are labeling you is because you're not expressing yourself. So you have to express yourself. Number 5 is this. Which is the worst one, to know that you're passive. Now remember, these 3 do not resolve conflict. Okay? So this next one is 5. Number 5 is they let people choose for them. They can't choose for themselves. They always allow somebody else to make the decision or influence them and make the decision. And even if it's the decision that they don't want, that might not be the right decision, their main motive is I just want to keep the peace. Don't want no trouble. But trouble is building up on the inside, because if you let other people choose for you, you can be led down in the wrong direction. And then where's your assertiveness, or where's your frame of mind, or where's your right? Your right's going to come in to be able to make your own choices and your own decisions. So yes, those are the 5. And if any of these have hit you, I tell you what you do. Get on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 meaning the highest. If those 5 affected you, and you can check off a list, and if you get 3 out of 5, I mean, if you get if you get 3 of them out of 5 of them that I just said, and let me repeat them again. 1 is giving up their rights when there's a conflict. 2, do not get what they want at their own expense. 3, put out more, pay more. 4, do not express thoughts and feelings or needs. And 5, let people choose for them. If 3 of those out of 5, then you are or have been part of your issue being a passive and a flight person. Okay? And we're going to do this for the next skill too. For the next 2. So the next one we're going to talk about is fight and aggressive. That was my issue. Fighting and always aggressive. Because why? It linked into the experiences that I went through, and linked in as part of my identity, my quote unquote identity. So the fight person, let me give you some definitions of the characters of a fight person that likes to fight and aggressive. They fight, dominates, they bully, they embarrasses and attack others. And aggressive person, so let me repeat that again. They fight, dominate, they bully, they embarrass, they attack others. So you see people bullying, taking advantage of other people. You can be bullied in church, bullied at AA. People just bully you. I mean, you're a bully. You know, you stepping on, you infringe on the rights of others. You infringe on them. You just take advantage of somebody. Don't care about their feelings. Don't care about their needs, their thoughts. And that was me. I used to like to fight, very dominant, a bully, embarrass and attack you wherever, anywhere, most definitely. So that thank God that I'm saved and I know Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, is my higher power to keep all that at bay and let me know that I don't walk into that old identity no more. I'm a new creature created in Christ Jesus, and I have to abide by the scriptures of the law that I believe in the Bible to keep this flesh under subjection for me going back and identifying with that past. I have to leave. The Bible helps me leave my past and my past behavior and my past character and my past identity in the past where it belongs. So now, next thing you know, let's talk about number one. Number one, it says it protects, aggressive persons protect their own rights at the expense of others. Woo! So I protect my own rights, or fight or aggressive individual protect their own rights at the expense of others. They make other people pay, quote unquote. They protect their own rights at the expense of others. I got a right to do this. I got the right to what's the name? And I usually blame and look at the other person as weak, and I use their inadequacies and their weaknesses to add fuel to my fire, to add fuel to my inside identity crisis of fire, and say, well, shoot, I can do that because they ain't. That's not my problem that they like that. But I am like this, and I'm going to stay this way. So because at others, always pointing to others. So also now, and that's even in, if you look at that in the anger management series that I taught, 3 out of 6 of the bad core beliefs had the word others in there. So why do you think others is in there? Others is in there because if I keep blaming others, that is my scapegoat excuse of not having to want to deal with the stuff that's going on with me, or identifying, and then I can use the blame game to keep blaming somebody else for things that I need to take accountability and work on for myself. So I protect. So now number one is I protect. They protect their own rights at the expense of others. I got a right to be a player, huh? That's why I misuse and I sleep with all these other women around there. They weak, that's their problem. So what am I doing? I'm using an excuse to protect my own right, what I call a right. When I don't have a right to be misusing all these women or all these other things, or abusing people, or abusing them physically, verbally, or non-verbally, but I use them at their expense. I keep it going. That's bad. Number 2, make other people, quote unquote, pay. Revenge. Make other people pay. Revenge. Whoa. So this tells me that I have a lot of unforgiveness tied up in this being a fight and aggressive person. A lot of unforgiveness, a lot of resentment. And a resentment, I said in the last one of the episodes, was a resentment is mental experience being relived and rethought of in the mind. It could happen 10, 15 years ago, but guess what? I relive it and rethink it in my mind. Bullies are Do you know that they have a high rate of going to prison? Even though they was bullies in high school, they have, or high school or junior high school, they have a high rate of going to prison, very high, 75 to 80% rate, or even higher, of being involved in drugs and alcohol and bullies. And why do you think that bullying opens up that door for that? Because why? There are unmet needs and unhealed hurts and all kind of unresolved issues that's going on in that individual, that, guess what, it links them, they'll have an addictive behavior, and guess around and start reaching for other things to keep the addiction going. So it starts from an inside issue and turns up and winds up being an outside issue, and then guess what, now I can justify it because I don't want to deal with this stuff within. So I make other people pay. Do you know anybody that make other people pay all the time? Are you a type of person that make other people pay at anything? Make them pay for whatever they done, whatever. And they might not even been the individual that done that to you, but they remind you of somebody that did that to you. But guess what? You're still carrying the brunt of it through unforgiveness, and you making everybody pay. Makes everybody pay. So number 3 is this: they end up losing closeness and do not get relationship needs met. Let me repeat that. They end up losing closeness and do not get relationship needs met. Now, there's a lot of people out there that might not be in a relationship. You know, let's say not a relationship, an affectionate relationship. But could it be because number 3, that I like to fight so much and aggressive that I end up losing closeness? Anytime I try to get close to somebody or talk to somebody, I end up losing it because of why? And because of the issues that's going on in me. I'm losing closeness with family members, losing closeness with girls. I can't even really get close to a woman when they get close to me, or vice versa. A woman can't get close to a man because of the inner conflicts that's going on the inside, to where they can't get close. They losing it. They lose, and justify at losing. Make a biggest excuse and use the blame game. It's their fault. End up losing closeness and do not get relationship needs met. Don't know how to, can start a relationship but can't stay in one, and cannot handle one all the way to the end because they fight and aggressive, which is the opposite of a loving, caring relationship. Loving, caring relationship don't want to fight. The only fight that they want is a fight within, to want to keep the relationship going, not fight against each other. That's destruction. So they end up losing closeness and do not get relationship needs met. And guess what? Relationship needs need to be met, because there's a difference from being in a relationship. A relationship and an associate are 2 different things. And a relationship, the reason you say relationship is because of the word relate. You relate to the individual. You relate. Some people relate. Me being fighting aggressive, I related to other fight and aggressive people. I didn't relate to passive people. I didn't relate. They was weak to me. I didn't relate to people that was smarter than me. I related to. So who are you relating to as you're going through this series? Any label that you do find out admitting yourself to, don't look at that as an end. I'm not wanting you to look at this as an end and blackball yourself. The thing that I'm wanting us to do is on this journey of change is being able to label and identify the roots of what's going on. And guess what? As we identify, we are coming toward a solution. As I said in the last series, solution focused. Not to keep that, but that, hey, I got it now. Let me see what I can do to move on from it and better myself at it. This is for betterment. And number 4 is they violate the rights of others. Abusing someone, physical, verbally, sexually, mentally, spiritually, if I'm violating the rights of others. Now, I'm not saying now, we can agree to disagree on something. Now, if a person agree to disagree with you about something, that is not violating your rights. You know, you have a certain type of lifestyle that you live and the other person don't agree with it. That is not, he don't have to agree with what, or she does not have to agree with the lifestyle or whatever you're choosing to. But when you violate the rights of others, is that when you going into straight up attack and going into attack mode and attacking them, like I told you, verbally, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, sexually, you're attacking them. You're violating their rights. Because guess what? Other people that you do run into are individual people that's not you, and they do have rights. And they have a right to agree to disagree. I know in this society that we live in, it's so funny because a lot of people feel like that if you don't agree with them, you just wrong. You hell-bent wrong. When we are all made different and have different personalities. So we're not all going to agree on some things. So violating the rights of others. And this is a fight and aggressive. The fight and aggressive. As we see what it is. Number one, they protect their own rights at the expense of others. I mean, they use excuses to keep doing what they want to do. And a lot of those excuses, let me add to this, a lot of those excuses have a lot to do with tradition and religion and tradition stuff that was passed down to them. So guess what? So I'm gonna beat the black or beat the heck out of my son because my daddy beat it off of me. So I'm protecting my rights to be abusive at the expense of the other person that's taking the end of that belt in a very malicious, rageful, wrathful way, like that as well. Number two, make other people pay revenge. 3, they end up losing closeness and do not get relationship needs met. Number 4, they violate the rights of others. So, out of those 4, if you think 2 of those, two out of 4 of those, then 9 times out of 10 you are at least out of 5 on a scale from 0 to 10, and your character flaw can be fight and aggressive. Okay, that was mine. I dealt with it. And then we got number 3. Ooh, number 3, tough one. Number 3 is, I think, probably the worst of all, and it is called fake passive aggressive. I mean, your identity is fake because guess why? You're passive aggressive, but you're not passive and you're not straight up aggressive. You're passive aggressive, so that means you're double-minded. And the Bible says the double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So guess what? It says this style falls between avoiding and being aggressive. Passive aggressive persons there are 6 I want you to look at right here and listen to. Number 1, they are not direct in approaching problems. Woo! Have you had a problem with being not being direct in approaching problems? Because that's the only way you're going to approach a problem and come to a solution-focused attitude is you have to confront it and you have to be direct. If you are indirect, you'll lose the other person, you'll lose you. And really, you were already lost because why? You're dealing with 2 type of mindsets, a passive and aggressive one. So you don't know which one to be. Now, they are not direct in approaching problems. And if you are associated with friends like that, these are usually people that would like to keep problems going. Number 2, they fail to express needs in a way that other people can respond to. This is what you call playing games. They might not even know that they're doing it. They fail to express the needs. And everybody has to express needs in a way that other people can respond to. So you come in solution focused, but they're coming and always keeping you at bay. And you know that they not really want a solution. They'll keep. It's almost like, put it like this. You have a friend that's always calling you about a problem all the time. And, oh, my man does this. Oh, my man does that. Oh, my man does it. Oh, my woman does this. My woman does that. And then you try to give them a solution to the problem, and they say, okay, that's right. And guess what? They're not even really listening to you. They're defensive, and it's going in one ear and out the other. And the next day or two, they still come with, oh, they still here. Oh, my family. All my kids. All my man. All my woman. And you done gave them the steps to help out in that area. But guess what? Every time you do give it to them, they come back with the, oh, that's a way of failing to express the needs in a way that other people can respond to. People are trying to respond to you with solutions, and you yet still focused on the problem. Passive aggressive. Number 3. They do not get what they want at the expense of themselves and others. A lot of people even in the jail cell locked up right now. Some people are locked up mentally in their mental minds right now because they do not get what they want at the expense of themselves. Yeah, they're adding themselves to it and others. Guess what? Other people are paying for it. While the individual is locked up, or individuals on drugs, or while individual is hooked on crack, cocaine, methamphetamines, pornography, hooked on anything, whatever they hooked on now, guess what? The others, it's affecting others too. So for you to say, well, I don't care, it's my life and I ain't affecting nobody, there is not a person sitting on God's green earth that's doing something for themselves, nothing that's not affecting somebody else out there. Because we are made as a people and a nation of people, and we made as a group, and we do affect one another. Whether we believe it or not, whether we add to it or try to change, or we say that's me, or we lie to ourselves and say, well, I'm not bothering nobody. Yeah, you not bothering nobody is bothering somebody, because you probably need to bother somebody. You bother that person out there that's hooked on the drugs, tell them that they can live. Bother that person, that teenager that's trying to get us having sex. Bother them and let them know that, hey, wait a minute now, you might wind up pregnant, and you know, baby going to the system, or born with STD or AIDS and stuff. You need to bother an alcoholic that keep getting that car driving with DWI. Yes, you even know what you don't do is affecting somebody else out there. So they do not get what they want at the expense of themselves and others. And they go that other word, that word again, others. Because the reason they do it, others can be used as an excuse. Why not to? Well, I'm not going to try and do better. I ain't going to church because them other hypocrites in that church, because them other folks in that church. That's why I ain't going to church now. And the hypocrites is doing their job, because guess what? They don't care if you there or not anyway. And the thought and the sentence that came out, what you talking about going to church, came from you, not them anyway. So they doing their job, because that means they let you know that you ain't focused on God or focused on bettering yourself. You focus on the problem, for the problem people out there, and they got you by the tail and you don't even know it. You don't want to better yourself because of that, because of watching other people not better themselves. I can't talk it if I ain't lived it. So guess what? Now we got number 4. They make people distrust. They make people distrust. Because they don't trust nobody, they shove it down your throat not to trust nobody. And don't get me wrong, trust is hard to earn, and once it's broke, some people will never trust another individual again. But when you got people out there, or you one of the type of individuals that's just stirring the pot and making people distrust, don't have no evidence, walking on hearsay, off gossip, and not have no hardcore evidence, are you forcing the individual to be mistrustworthy just like you are, then you are part of the problem. And that's fake, and that's a passive aggressive person, because they make people distrust. Don't have the whole story. Say half the story. Just enough bait out there for you to bite. Make people distrust. There's another one. Number 5, check this out. They prevent problem solving. They could care less if you solution focus. They could care less that you want a solution to whatever you're doing and going through. They could care less that you want to better yourself. Because why? That's their initiative and their character. And this type of person's character is they want to prevent problems from being solved. So guess what? What kind of people are these? Hell raisers out there. Regretful people. People full of resentments. Full of regrets. Full of coulda, shoulda, wouldas. And still ain't goners in them. Don't have a goner in them. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful. If this falls on you, hey man, admit it, quit it, and get with it. Because preventing problem solving, man, that is not good. And guess what? Now we got number 6 at hand, right? Number 6 is this here. Make everyone pay. I'm reminded of like people that do mass suicides, you know, like the Johannesburg tragedy, where all those people drunk the cyanide and made them drink it and they died. And then also like what happened not long ago, where a young male walked into a predominantly black church and shot and killed 9 people in there and injured others. And his whole objective was revenge and to make everyone pay, quote unquote. Destroy life. This type of mentality destroys lives. It'll destroy your life. It'll engulf you with hatred. It make everyone pay. You're equal opportunity hellraiser. You don't care what color they is, you don't care what. Long everybody's going to pay. And you're not a person like this is not going to stop until everyone pays. And guess what? What the individual don't understand about this here is, guess what? Nobody will ever pay enough. You will keep adding debt and keep adding debt until you get to the root of the problem. Always add debt to it. So nobody will never pay. It don't matter how much. Bible, in the book of Proverbs, there's a scripture there that says that the flesh is never satisfied. So long this is a way of operating in flesh, will never be satisfied. The alcoholic will never drink enough drinks to satisfy him. The drug addict will never do enough drugs to satisfy him. The sex addict will never have enough women to satisfy them. There's no satisfaction in the flesh when you're operating in the flesh. So now, it says right here, on the same thing, if this touched you and you being honest and open with yourself, then if you, and number 1 is what? A fake passive aggressive, or not direct and approaching problems. 2, fail to express what needs in a way that other people can respond to. 3, do not get what they want at the expense of themselves and others. 4, make people distrust. 5, prevent problem solving. And 6, make everyone pay. It says these approaches fail to give to give positive outcomes or results. They do not help people get their needs met in healthy ways. They drive people away. And also, even though alcohol and drug use makes people show these styles, if they're hooked on drugs or some type of addiction, in more extreme or severe ways. And under alcohol and drug addiction with it also, it influences the aggressive person, becomes more aggressive and even violent. Because it ain't nothing but putting gas on this character, on this flawed character. And it's spreading and eating everything in its path. So guess what? We done went through all three of them. The same scale. You got more than 3, you at least at a 5 from a scale from 0 to 10. Now let's talk about the last one. Guess what? But it's a good one. I know y'all ready for that. You probably heard all the bad. Because this right here helped all 3 of these bad lifestyles, these bad styles, outcomes. It helps it a lot. And it's called fair and being assertive. Okay? Assertiveness. Now, assertiveness is this. Assertiveness is a healthy choice. This helps you and others get their needs met. You and others get their needs met. So this is if you want to be grown. Let's put it like that. If you want to be grown and come up out of selfishness and you want to get your needs and others met, this helps. It's the only way it's gonna help. You got to care about somebody else. It leads to win-win outcomes. It is a way of caring. Assertive persons, guess what? This is what an assertive individual does. Number 1, they do not compromise their rights to get their needs met. There's no compromise in this individual. They don't compromise their rights to get their needs met. So if I got a right to stay sober, or I got a right to go to church, I'm not going to sit up there and I'm not going to compromise my right to get my need met. I need to cuss somebody out. I need to cuss somebody out, do this and do something. I need to get revenge on somebody. I'm not going to compromise my right. My right is, guess what? I don't have to go to that extreme to get what I want in the end. I don't have to. So they do not compromise their rights to get their needs met. Number 2, but they do get their needs met. No, but they do not get there. Let me repeat that. They do not get their needs met at the expense of others. This is what you call somebody that's maturing. I'm not going to use another person as a stepping stone to get my needs met. I'm not going to be a player no more. I'm going to try to get myself together and be a one-woman man if possible, because that is a good and honorable way to do it. So I'm not going to not get my needs met at the expense of others. I'm pushing other people out of the way of this thing, and I'm realizing that this thing is all about me and my inner man and my psyche and all the abilities that God given me. I have to do this. So this helps me not play the blame game. And guess what? Number 3 is this here. They do not violate the rights of others. You know what? Your mama got a right to want a good night's sleep and not wait on a phone call from the police. Huh? I'm violating her rights by calling them and asking to help me out every time I get in trouble and want to be a kid and not grown. When I was a child, I thought like a child, I spake like a child, I acted like a child. But when I became a man, I put my childish ways, my ways away. I put my ways away. When I put my ways away, that shows when I'm growing up from childhood to adult. Guess what? You can be at the age of adulthood, 65 years old, and yet childish. Childish does not have nothing to do with age. Childish has all to do with character. How I carry myself. And number 4 is are more honest and open and direct. Now let me repeat that. It says they are more honest, open, not closed-minded, closed-eared, Close. Only maybe a closed mouth will help if I keep my mouth keep getting in my way. Open and direct. They're not indirectly doing things. They're not beating around the bush. How many years have we been beating around the bush and stuff that we should have took care of a long time ago? And guess what? Number 5 is this. They do not make others pay. Ceasefire. There's a ceasefire in all of this here. I'm tired of that. I'm ceasing the fire. Tired of making other people's pay, and I'm the one getting the most currency out of me. I'm paying the most. I'm thinking I'm getting over by paying them back, and I'm paying the most. Now, let's step on back into this assertiveness right quick. Now, there are 4 skills in being assertive that will help you, because I admitted that I did not know how to be assertive, and I did not know how to be open, honest, and direct. My higher power, Jesus Christ, helped me out. I don't know who your higher power is that might help you out, but help me out in this here. And there are 4 skills, and we're gonna go over those right quick. So these are 4 specific skills in being assertive. Help me be assertive, because I didn't know how to do it, but these help me. Skill number 1 is active sharing. How do I active share? Well, check it out. I clearly state my position. Focus on my agenda. I state my needs and use I and me messages, and not you and shooting a bullet and gun at somebody else. So this is all about me. Being assertive is about me. Skill number 2 is active listening. What's active listening? Remember what I said it was in the very first one about posture, nonverbals, body language, voice tone, all of that. I have that there. Work on that. Active listening. And check this out. Active listening involves right here. Listen to the other person's response. Don't be defensive. Be an open responder. Give the person a chance to talk and explain themselves. Most important, hear the other person's needs. And use invitation and reflection skills. Invite them into your conversation. Use invitation. Invitation helps. Invite them into your world. Don't be so defensive and shut everybody else out like you've been doing the last 10, 15, 20 years. It's time to lay that down. Skill number 3. Make the outcome as much as possible within you. Win-win. You win, they win. It ain't about, and making a win-win, it does not help being a win-win situation by wanting to always get the last word. Offer solutions that meet each other's needs. Assertiveness, listen here, assertiveness is about getting needs met. It's not about getting wants met. It's not about wanting wants. It's about getting needs met. And some of us need to start expressing ourselves instead of holding stuff in. It's not going to hurt nobody. Now, some people might not have an assertive point of view yet. They might not have educated or grown up into that maturity yet. But just because they ain't doing it, you keep on doing it. Or don't let that stop you from doing it. Okay? Okay. So now, and skill number 4 is this here. Keep the door open for further discussion. How do I do that? By keeping the options open. Because you know why? It says our needs change. And also, people change. And that's what we're talking about right now. This whole thing that we're talking about is a journey of change. So number 4 is very important. Skill 4 is very important about keeping the door open for further discussion. Because just because we stop talking about the issue today don't mean that it's been finalized tomorrow. There might be some stuff that need to be rehashed tomorrow. See, all of this I'm talking about is about communication. This whole series is about communication. Learning how to communicate with yourself first. Love your neighbor as yourself. If I don't know how to communicate with myself, how I'm going to communicate is how I'm going to communicate with others. I got to learn how to communicate with myself so that I can be able to properly communicate with others, and even know how to, even when problems come, knowing how to press on beyond the disagreement, the argument, the conflict, and be able to keep on moving and not let that infracture what I want to do and give up and throw in the towel because other people don't understand. Everybody is not going to understand you. You better just learn how to understand yourself first. And then the other people will follow. Some people are not meant to understand you right then and there. It might be you just be planting a seed right there, and then later on, years down the line or whatnot, oh, now I see what they was trying to say. So you stay the course in this journey of change. And this here is going to conclude our episode on this here, on It's Your Right, developing assertiveness skills. And I hope that this session helped you in the most. And I hope it blesses you. I know it will. It blessed me. It helped me grow up. It helped me mature. It helped me perfect me in being a man, a grown man. So I just hope that this helped you and it blesses you. So this is Evangelist James Stell signing off. Until the next time we meet again, be blessed.